We now move on to the college football preview. I've been looking forward for, I don't know, the whole week. We get starting off at noon on ESPN. We get the two teams who tried to play Georgia and Alabama last week. That'll be Arkansas and Ole Miss. So we'll see which team is capable of getting off the mat in that one. And Lane Kiffin got a popcorn refill for us. We will see. Also got the Red River rivalry on noon on ABC. Georgia's going to meet Auburn in the CBS 3:30 game, and they get a double hitter on CBS. We get Alabama and Texas A&M in the nightcap at 8.
Wait, we don't call that the dun game no more.
Yeah, I'm trying to just pick my spots in that one. I don't do the musical interpretations every time. And then we got a big one in the Big Ten. We'll see Penn State and Iowa at 4 p.m. on Fox. Somehow that's not the big noon game. I guess Ohio State, it's written in their contract that even when they play the likes of Maryland, that has to be big noon. But anyway, Drink, what you looking forward to tomorrow?
Okay, so one like I guess challenge. I don't know what kind of note you'll call this, but so yes, Oklahoma and Texas is the big noon game. However, the big noon commentating crew will be at the 4 o'clock game on Fox, which is Penn State and Iowa. So the A team will be calling the 4 o'clock game. But
that makes me feel a lot better. Thank you for that.
So with that said, rolling into it, like you said, the two contenders last week that turned out to be pretenders when they went against real contenders. Number 13 Arkansas, number 17 Ole Miss. They're giving Ole Miss 5.5 as far as the spread go. I agree with that. Here's the deal. Ole Miss still can play offense very, very well. What I think we seen last week against Alabama was their defense just – you can miss me with the improvement on defense, all right? Yeah, I here with some Big 12 crap, Lane, and that's what got proven last week, right? You just – yeah, that looks all good until you actually play a team, and then you made your comment before the game – and you see how that turned out. And I told you this before the show. I don't know if Lane really meant to say that. I just felt like he got caught up in the moment and he said it. And he realized what he said. That's why he threw the headset off and ran off. And now it's going to follow him probably for the rest of his career. I don't know, but it's going to follow him for a while. And then over to Arkansas. Listen, now here's the thing. Arkansas's talent is built a little better to face a team like Ole Miss than it is to face a team like Georgia. Because Georgia recruits at such an elite level, your top player on your team probably wouldn't even start for Georgia. But that's not the same thing for Ole Miss, right? Your top person on your team probably can start for Ole Miss, not for Georgia. And we've seen that from the opening get. Now, I would say this. Both teams was on the road to more superior teams. So you got to kind of take what you seen last week with a grain of salt and think, throw that out, you probably get a different game. I do think Ole Miss win this game because they just have the more consistent offense. I think Lane Kiffin, he's going to come out here and try to prove himself because he's tired of the popcorn jokes. And we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, noon. The Red River rivalry, hey, here's the deal, folks. This game is very, very important for the Pac-12 future. Because the way I look at this, the winner of this game will have the inside track to the playoffs. Winning this game very well might be the playoff representative for the Big 12. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, Oklahoma lose. They only got one loss. Well, they could run it back. And they very well could. You still got a Big 12 championship game to play. So very well. But I'm going to tell you Oklahoma fans this. If you lose this game, you can hang it up. Do you not see how people feel about your team when you win games? Imagine how they're going to feel when you lose a game. Like, we don't believe in you. And then you think you're going to lose a game and all of a sudden we're going to have more belief in you after a loss than we do after a win? Nah, player. So, for Oklahoma to stay alive, they have to win this game in my book. And then for Texas, listen, they playing with house money. They done already lost a big game. So they can get to come in here and kind of play with house money and B. John Robinson run all over Oklahoma defense, left and right. And, the kid Thompson come in here throwing the ball. Because I'm telling you, man, Oklahoma, man, it's Spencer Rattler and a bunch of dudes. That's what Oklahoma is right now. Spencer Rattler and a bunch of dudes. That offensive line is so lackluster. That offensive line is terrible. And that's where Lincoln Riley probably pulling out the smooth hair that he got over there under the visor. Because he probably like, I don't know what to do with this lackluster offensive line. And Texas got enough talent to give them fits. And I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure if Oklahoma will be able to consistently stop Texas from running the ball because they have at least a top 3 running back, if not the top running back in the nation in Bijan Robinson. So, yeah, the winner of that one going to probably, and if I got to make a pick right now, I'm going to go with Texas. I just believe in Texas more than Oklahoma right now. It's just Spencer Rattler and a bunch of dudes. Then number 2, Georgia, visiting number 18, Auburn. Now, let me tell you something I find interesting in this game. 15 points. I'm going to assume that game spread will go down to 14 points by the time the game starts, which tells me that Vegas must think Georgia finna come in here sleepwalking at a high level. Because it's not a player on Auburn outside of the running back Tank Bigsby that I care to even. Bo Nix, you better stop it. That guy that what's his name? TJ Finley just transferred from LSU this year. No, not good enough. Against this defense? Sheesh. So what it tells me is the only reason this is going to be a game is because Georgia going to come out here just slopping around with the Kirby Smart special, not taking it serious, and Auburn's going to stick around in the game. And then Georgia going to finally say, dang, last time I checked, we Georgia. Let's just go ahead and steamroll these dudes in the fourth quarter, get it over with. And that's what I think going to happen. So I do see the spread going down to 14 points because I just don't think Vegas believe Georgia going to play a full 60 minutes in this one. And then, Boise State, BYU. Now, the reason this is interesting kind of jumps on the back of something else that's interesting. Cincinnati beat Notre Dame last year. It was pretty much put Notre Dame out of the picture because we didn't believe in them from the start. I mean, they didn't play good enough ball to make us believe in them, right? So now Cincinnati is the team, the group of 5 team that's beating their chest. They say, hey, before y'all say no group of 5 teams, give our resume a look. Look at our body of work. Look at our game tape. And give us the eye test and all these other measurables that we use for every other team, come holler at us. Now, Cincinnati went and took care of business and other teams went flopping around. Now you got BYU in the top 10. Now you got to ask yourself, when the last time we seen 2 group of 5 teams in the top 10? So this is getting a little interesting here. Because what if BYU go make some noise and they end up going up in the rankings and they get close to Cincinnati? Hey, I'm just saying, this year we might get a group of 5 team in the playoffs and one in the New Year's Six Bowl. And that's going to be some history, folks. So you got to keep an eye on that. And then this is the game I think is the main event of Saturday's action. And this is the game that Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson going to call the 18, Jenny Taft, all of them. Number 4, Penn State going to Iowa to play number 3, Iowa. This is the game, folks. This is the main event. As you see, it's only a 1.5 point spread. So that let you know right there. They think this one going to come down to the final minute, field goal, something, all that goodness. It's going to be rocking in there. We always say this. Iowa good for beating one good team a year. They always good for that. This year, they playing like they good enough to beat 2 good teams a year. And I think Penn State, this game is very, very important for multiple reasons. But with that said, I'm gonna take Iowa, and I think Iowa really gotta win this game because Iowa don't have the horses on the back end of their schedule to justify them doing anything else if they don't win. Now, I will say this. Iowa could lose this game, clear the rest of their schedule because it ain't pretty. It's a pretty bad schedule. And then go to the Big Ten Championship, play the winner of the other side, and still get in. So I will say that. However, if they lose this game and then mess around with anybody else on their schedule, they done. Because that schedule is not looking good. However, Penn State got a gunless row over here. Penn State, they still got to play Ohio State. They still got to play Michigan State. They still got to play Michigan. It is not easy on that side of the bracket. Yep. So Penn State could, you don't want to lose this game for Penn State and then know what you got on the back end of the schedule. So this game is very, very important. Make no mistake, though. You still got Ohio State in the mix. You still got Michigan playing some football. You still got Michigan State. The Big Ten will have a representative. because I know me and you talked about this before the show, and we're in agreement. Big Ten will have a representative, but I do hear some people that say Big Ten ain't that good just because Ohio State lost the game. Oh, Ohio State lose the game, not a Big Ten, not that good, huh? Come on, man. You got to knock it off. So that's the game that has a lot of playoff implications to me. And then you got the 7:30, the primetime game on ABC. Number 9, Michigan, 3.5-point favorite over Nebraska. Hey, Michigan, 3.5 over Nebraska. That ain't it. Win it. I mean, we seen Nebraska play all right with Ohio State, but when else did we see Nebraska play good enough where they should be a 3.5-point underdog to you? Like, are you kidding me? So something tells me Vegas ain't buying something Michigan doing. It's something that Michigan doing. Yeah. They saying this is fake. This is the, as Colin Cowherd call it, the fake idea of college football. So it's something fake out here that Michigan got going on, and we'll see. I got Michigan in that game. They should win that game, or we got some other stuff to talk about. And then, last but not least, like you said, the second half of the doubleheader. So 8 o'clock on CBS. Got number 1 Alabama, 18-point favorite over Texas A&M. I thought that spread would have been a little higher. I'm not gonna lie, but clearly I know why. Because Alabama don't play a full 60 minutes. Like, I don't know what we got going on. We give you an awesome first 30 minutes, and then that second 30 minutes is just like, woo, let's try this, water balloons and all this other crap going on. I don't know. But if they stay focused, this game should be over relatively fast. Because, once again, I just said this for the 3rd week in a row. I don't know what the hell Texas A&M got going on at quarterback, but it ain't it. Like, that guy is not good. And it seems as if the rest of the team around the quarterback ain't as good as I thought they was either. This was supposed to be the year. You got out some of these super seniors coming back, and, we got 4-year starters and all this other stuff. I thought Jimbo Fisher was going to have them boys humming, but as you see, they started in the top 10, now they unranked. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the week 6 action.
It's a good one. This is a second straight week to that we really got a whole lot to chew on. I'm looking at I think I tend to agree with you in this Red River rivalry, which to me is lost some of its luster recently. It doesn't fire me up as it used to. I think there's a handful of rivalry games that are played mid-season that are like that. But Oklahoma hasn't done anything that's really impressive. Like all their games outside of beating Western Carolina or whoever it was by 76. I mean, every other game's been within 7 points, and they haven't played anybody who's particularly impressive. Like maybe Nebraska's getting some love in that Nebraska-Michigan game because Nebraska played them close. Maybe that's plausible, but I mean, even so, I'm not moved by what Oklahoma has done. I think they will lose a game at some point. It could very well be this one. You do have this guy, Bijan Robinson, who's having a heck of a season so far. I believe he's in the Heisman conversation. I thought Spencer Rattler was going to be in the Heisman conversation, but judging by what I'm seeing, I don't think this is quite it. And we're not having I'm not seeing the wow factor that we've seen from, the past 3 quarterbacks that Lincoln Riley was churning out there. So I'm leaning Texas that way, although, I think it'll be a classic shootout type game. Back and forth, so we'll see. Could be one of those games where it comes down to last possession wins. Of course, Georgia and Auburn. The biggest thing for me overall this weekend is, do we see a team that can close the gap with Alabama and Georgia? Because I know right now for me, I'm looking at Alabama and Georgia. Those to me are clearly the 2 best teams. We thought they might get challenged last weekend. It was not to be. Georgia, took care of Arkansas. Alabama took care of Ole Miss. Those games were over by halftime. And so, can Auburn test Georgia? They are at home. So Bo Nix plays well at home. But, this defense is something different with what Georgia's bringing out there. So, that's going to be a tall task. So we'll have to see. And, of course, A&M and Alabama. A&M, we was feeling them early. I know you had an injury at the quarterback position. We get all that. But they are about to go to 0-3 in the conference. And for a team that they was 5th in the preseason, and now they're unranked, and now they're going to be even more unranked if that's possible after this week. This is look, we was giving Jimbo credit last year, like, man, you just missed it. Like you lost to Alabama, but outside of that, you took care of all your business. And you just lost to Mississippi State. And I don't think they're that good. So they're about to be 3-3, and all 3 losses in the conference. Even your one non-conference game that was Power 5, you beat Colorado by 3. So they're a mess right now, and I am surprised that the line is that generous. It must be that Vegas is like, well, Alabama, they're gonna come out there and they're gonna take a quarter off or something. So outside of that, the other thing, Penn State and Iowa, that's obviously a huge game. I'm looking for that, similar to what I just said about Bama and Georgia. Is one of those teams? Does one of those teams, perform in such a way that you say, okay, maybe one of these teams out of the Big Ten has something for Georgia and Alabama? I'm not sure what to make of that one. I'll have to see it play out. But your point is correct. We looked at the schedules. We looked at what Iowa's got. They playing out west. The Big Ten West ain't much out there. It's Iowa. Because Wisconsin's not good. We haven't seen Minnesota. We still waiting for them to get back on their feet. Nebraska, ain't no even use talking about some of these other teams. But Penn State, look, you go out east, they do have a gauntlet. They have all the teams you mentioned. So obviously, either team that loses this game, it's not over for them. And especially for Penn State, they're going to have opportunities down the line with three games coming up with Ohio State, Michigan. And both teams can survive by losing this game. But especially for Penn State, if they lose this one, it's hard to imagine that they could beat all 3 of those teams down the line. That's just going to be a tall ask. And you need those games, because it's going to be, at this point, it looks like Iowa's going to win the Big Ten West. So they're going to be in the Big Ten title game, probably regardless if they lose this game. Penn State, on the other hand, they might need this game even more, even though they're still going to have plenty of opportunities to impress the committee. But it's just a situation of one side being stronger, similar to how the SEC West is stronger than the SEC East. The other game, there's one more that I'm thinking of, because I was very impressed with Kentucky last week, beating Florida in Lexington for the first time in 35 years or whatever. Let me tell you, Kroger Field was lit. I didn't even know it was called Kroger Field. They right next to the Food Line Forum, I believe. Just a fantastic atmosphere. They get LSU. I'm ready for this. I like what I see from Kentucky. They jump all the way to 16, and they get LSU. I'm not this LSU thing since the whole Burrow Magic show. It's a mess right now.
Right.
And I hope Kentucky keeps this thing up and keeps the pressure on them, because they're not it right now. And back to the Big Ten real quick. Yeah. This whole thing, the Big Ten, they're not that good. Well, they got 4 teams in the top 10, and Michigan's 11. So probably can miss me with that one.